Zimbabwe government works with local organizations to distribute masks to citizens. We learn from doctors about how atrial fibrillation is related to strokes. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. Zimbabwe's government connected multiple local units together, distributing masks to citizens. It is hoped that through this event, locals may have more awareness about the ongoing pandemic. The collaborators include Tzu Chi, Red Cross, Lions Club International, and Pepsi. Furthermore, Tzu Chi has brought supplies for 2 large hospitals.
Rice and cooking oil made their way to Wanhua District Hospital as hospital staff start to cook for patients.
This is a nice rice. When you cook it, it is very easy to cook. It is a good dish when you dish it.
COVID prevention supplies from Taiwan have satisfied the needs of hospital officials.
And people were afraid. Fear is one of them. And it was really a problem when we started, but now these days, though we still face, they need to have physical distance, which is allowed. You have to take care of the hand washing using soap and water, the hand washing using sanitizers. So some of those items are in short supply.
Sally Mugabe Hospital is classified as a large hospital, as with proper measure and care, their funding can be used on tasks besides medical care.
We are very grateful that Tzu Chi Foundation has donated a sizable amount of protective clothing, which will be used by our health staff in this period of COVID-19 pandemic.
In order to bring proper COVID prevention ideals to locals, Zimbabwe Tzu Chi volunteers joined into the local government's units, delivering masks at the largest department store in the country.
We also encourage citizens to properly wear masks because many wore them incorrectly. We'll also share with them about how to protect their community.
We do hope that through our collaboration with many local units, we can raise the awareness level of local people.
In Wanhua District, Taipei City, an elderly couple over 80 years old, recently because the floor tiles in their home were cracked and the ground was uneven, city volunteers helped them renovate their house. After a few working days, the floor tiles were changed and handrails were installed. Volunteers were also mobilized to assist in thorough cleaning.
The furniture is covered with plastic bags, and everything in the house is dusty. This is the home of the Luo family in Wanhua District, Taipei City. A few days ago, Tzu Chi assisted the 2 elders in installing anti-slip ties and handrails. Now that the work is completed, volunteers are mobilized to set the furniture and do a thorough clean-up.
Because both elders are already in their 80s and live by themselves. In fact, their safety worries us the most. Today, we especially pave non-slip tiles and install handrails in the bathroom and kitchen so that is more convenient for them to move around as they are less likely to fall.
Knowing that it's not easy for the elders to organize their housework, volunteers also do a thorough cleaning, including the bathroom, kitchen, walls, door cracks, and other minor places. The elders can't wait to see how their home looks after the cleanup. On the day of returning home, their daughter and son-in-law also came back to help. Seeing their parents so happy, they also thanked the volunteers.
Thank you so much for helping us like this. You have improved their living environment so they can live here safely. I also feel relieved.
Before, most of the tiles were peeling off and the floor was uneven, so it's quite dangerous for the elderly. You are so enthusiastic to help him. This loving care is really precious.
Before volunteers leave, they sing songs to bless the elders, hoping that they can lead a safer life in the future.
As the global pandemic is still severe, Tainan City volunteers held a spring prayer ceremony at Shanghua Liaison Office. They also went to communities to carry out home improvement projects for seniors and promote vegetarianism. Let's join them there. After making the props mindfully, they perform on stage. Senior recycling volunteers are lively as they wave the props they made with recycled materials. While doing recycling, they also promote vegetarianism.
They promote vegetarianism through Taiwanese opera performance. They are very wise. We should all support them and embrace vegetarianism.
As people hold a spring feast in Mado, they've decided to serve vegetarian dishes.
We do not force people to adopt a vegetarian diet. People can decide on their own. However, for our feast, we must serve vegetarian food for hundreds of tables.
Guangshan Borough in Jiangjun District of Tainan is known for being one of Taiwan's longevity villages. Seniors who are more than 65 years old make up 28% of the population. Volunteers have carried out home improvement projects to prevent seniors from having accidents.
They have enhanced the senior safety. They feel down to earth. They can feel the volunteers' care.
The Liu City Hospital medical team has traveled to Qigu, Tainan to promote preventative medicine for the residents so they can stay away from muscle or bone injuries.
My mother is between 80 to 90 years old. I worry about whether she's staying safe at home. As they improve the safety measures at our home, we do not have to worry as much. We can work with peace of mind.
As volunteers improve the safety measures at the seniors' homes, they also promote vegetarianism and health regimens. It is the second year for the students from junior high school in Gongliao to learn how to plant rice seedlings. They not only experience the hardship of farmers, but also learn Chinese and mathematics beside a farm.
为布料无好，你爱甲负啊正，甲遮的囡仔共款，伊行为可能有一点仔偏差，但是来遮咱就是用咱的爱心，慢慢甲引导。
This is a mathematics lessons. And it's also a biology lesson.
今年他到的稻米的品种，
像从来没有讲过，但是我。
And Chinese lesson is indispensable. This is the second year for the students from Fengzu Junior High School to learn how to plant rice seedlings in field. They follow the ancient rituals to worship heaven and pray for success. They also inserted bamboo poles in the field to thank the guardian of the earth. When they stepped on the soil, they could really experience the nature.
I actually love the nature very much. I think that through the process stepping on the soil, students can think about the relationship among themselves, the land and nature.
土地还有跟大自然之间的关系。从一开始。
In the beginning, some students were afraid of water spiders and screamed when stepping in the field. But now none of them do that, even for the new student, because he can feel the comfort and calmness of the other students.
Bending down, planting seedlings according to the rules, and then stepping back to do the same. Students learn that retreating means going forward, making them have a different view in life.
I look forward to and keep waiting for the time when it becomes big enough for a harvest.
Even though the whole body is covered with mud, the students become hopeful and look forward to a fruitful harvest.
In Taiwan, according to statistics from the National Health Administration, cerebrovascular disease is the fourth leading cause of death, and stroke is the most common disease. Stroke is usually associated with diabetes and high blood pressure. However, what people don't know is that atrial fibrillation is also highly related to strokes.
哪里没对？没铲，没铲。
Mr. Pan, who is nearly 80 years old, walks around the garden every day to take care of the fruits and vegetables he planted by himself. This is his favorite leisure activity after retirement.
I grow corn and green onions. I am retired. It won't be bored when I work in a vegetable garden.
Mr. Pan sometimes felt chest tightness and shortness of the breath. He thought it was a normal phenomenon after his labor. He did not care about it.
If I walk faster, I will pant. And I will pant when I do work, and pant when I exercise more intensely.
Grandpa complained that his chest was tight and uncomfortable and his heart was beating very fast at that time. We helped him check his asthma and coronary heart disease. Later, I thought he is old and he had heart palpitations coupled with a problem of diabetes and high blood pressure. It should be an arrhythmia. It may be atrial fibrillation that could easily get stroke. It happened that our team had 7 days ECG monitoring equipment. After helping him do the test, it was found that he had paroxysmal atrial fibrillation, and then he started using anticoagulants to prevent him from suffering a stroke.
Dr. Xu Jingyi did 3 kinds of examination for him until he monitored with ECG for 7 days. They found out that Mr. Pan's chest tightness and other uncomfortable symptoms were caused by atrial fibrillation. A stroke occurs that may be related to diabetes, high blood pressure, and arteriosclerosis, but many people do not know that atrial fibrillation is also one of the causes of stroke.
The heartbeat is like if you take the pulse by yourself and to feel like your pulse is like a Chinese medicine doctor. You'll find that the heartbeat is regular. You can take a heartbeat while taking your pulse, and you'll find that your tempo is actually on the track. The problem with the patient with atrial fibrillation is that his tempo is wrong, and his heartbeat may be fast and chaotic.
The
heartbeat is chaotic because the emptying of blood by the heart is incorrect. It is similar to the stagnant water in our pond, so silt will be deposited, which may cause some blood clots after depositing. After the thrombus is produced, if the thrombus is squeezed out from the heart by pressure, it will run to our brain and cause a stroke.
Mr. Pan accepted the advice of Dr. Xu and started taking anticoagulant to prevent a stroke as early as possible.
He used to be gloomy when seeing a doctor. After seeing this doctor, he would still laugh with him and talk about his goodness. I've never seen my dad who would talk about the doctor's goodness and leave the doctor's social communication account. He would send me a text message telling me what he had discovered, such as newspapers and magazines, saying what the elderly needed and what to prevent. They would pass it on to me, and that was passed to him by Dr. Xu himself.
Want to know the feeling of the sticking to the 7 days ECG? Dr. Xu personally tested if his skin was enlarged. It can better empathize with the patient's mood.
You can actually imagine that if you stick the ECG patch on your body for 7 consecutive days without removing it will definitely be uncomfortable. Before I plan to do this project, I think I have to experience it myself. Then I know how to tell the patient it feels when posted.
Dr. Xu Jingyi is a publicly funding graduate of the Department of Medicine of Tzu Chi University. At the graduation ceremony, he also spoke on behalf of the graduates. He decided to become a doctor because of his mother's illness, hoping to help more people. Now Xu Jingyi is an attending physician, and he stays at his alma mater to give back what he has learned.
City University of Science and Technology has organized a live training seminar under the leadership of City volunteers and Dharma masters in Jingsi Abode. Through sharing life stories, students can understand the meaning and value of life. Let's take a look at how these students learn and grow.
They may not have food to eat nor the opportunity to study in school. This is actually the life of refugees.
Tzu University of Science and Technology's live training seminar allowed students to listen to the story of Syrian refugees fleeing to Turkey and also witness the power of Tzu's support for education.
I myself would pay more attention to the process of their suffering, and I'm grateful for their sharing, making me feel that I'm very blessed. Be that as it may, I still think that there is beauty in the world.
In the seminar, through the sharing of Formosa Fun Coast explosion survivor and a blood cancer patient, students can understand how to lead a meaningful life.
I'm deeply touched by the sharing of Tzu Chi aunties. I realized that I need to seize the opportunity to be filial to my parents.
I will think about the meaning of life again and what I will do in the future just to find my way in life.
Tzu's humanities is also integrated into the curriculum. It is hoped that students will cherish their own blessings when they learn from others' sufferings, inspiring their learning motivation to become the pillar of society in the future.
In Kaohsiung, there's a group of people who loves animals, vegetarian food, and promoting the sustainability of the environment. They've established the Together Hotel, which is a space for pets and their owners to have a wonderful time. It is also a space where creative vegetarian dishes are being promoted. Stirring the sticky dish, eating and playing with flavors at the same time. Only by making the food hands-on can the customer taste the food. The customer is also able to customize the dish, creating a new tasting experience.
It is able to refresh your senses. In the end, there's a veggie bag for each of us. You can try it out by mixing with your own flavors. The whole experience is simply just amazing.
Normally, when we consume the green soybean, it might be in its original form, or maybe they smashed it into paste. But here they made it into mousse, which feels very light, and it really surprised me. They then combined it with a sweet biscuit, which is something that I have never tasted before. They use local ingredients to make dishes of various types and flavors.
Creativity comes from traditional dishes, as local ingredients can also be turned to spectacular vegetarian cuisines.
Vegetarian food has always seemed to have a bit of distance from my daily life. But today, I thought that it's a very special experience, as it not only made me full, but the dishes were also very delicate. The logic when it comes to cooking is that you must have a basic understanding of the ingredients. You must be very familiar with the ingredients, as it not only changes the taste, but the texture changes too. I hope that we can use more of these methods to spread vegetarian food to more people.
Using food to tell stories, as the chef emphasizes on the fun of making creative dishes. By creating a whole new experience for the taste buds, the customers will always be blown away.
Vegetarian restaurant is not only for vegetarians. Eating vegetarian meals is actually healthy and environmentally friendly. It is also good for the animals. This is why I wanted to establish a vegetarian restaurant. I wanted to challenge the gray area between meat dishes and vegetarian dishes.
Using white fungus to replace gelatin and fruit enzymes to replace alcohol, creative vegetarian cuisines not only saves animals, but it also satisfies the taste buds of consumers, enabling both pets and pet owners to enjoy a wonderful time together. Yingge in New Taipei City has a prosperous ceramic industry starting 200 years ago. How does the ceramic industry there evolve? Let's learn more about Yingge's pottery industry.
Without electricity, this product here can be used as a natural speaker, amplifying sound without any input of power.
We draw oil paintings, watercolor, ink wash painting. These are normally put on walls, so I thought of doing art in 3D. It can be put in kitchens, restaurants, and can be moved freely. This is called mobile art.
From 2D drawings to this 3D pottery, Li Xiufang has been creating ceramics here for more than 20 years.
It's like a home here. Every day I come to work very happily and draw with joyfulness. After my work is done, I wait for my products out of kiln with excitement.
For 10 to 20 years, this area hosted many talented artists. From 1805, Yingge started its ceramic industry. For 200 years, artists have been making ceramics designed for daily use.
Actually, from 1951 to 1961, the ceramic industry was at its peak. Large amounts of the plates and usable ceramics were produced, but the main focus was developing ceramic for daily use.
But during the 60s, Chinese ceramics and plastic products began to see a rise in the markets, heavily impacting Inga's ceramic industry. Therefore, many kiln owners thought if they could combine their works with artists, there might be another way out in an increasingly competitive market.
Now, once students from NTUA or other universities graduate, I really hope that they can take part of our ceramic industry.
20 years ago, artist Bai Fengzhong came to Inge. After burning the glaze, chemical change forces the colors to shift towards its original metal or color. At first, when dealing with glaze change, Bai Fengzhong spent a great amount of time studying the reaction.
We imagine the outcome like this, but after firing, it turns out the other way. After watercoloring, the colors after burning are also different. It's very hard to control.
The hard-to-control outcomes have brought upon harsh challenges to artists specialized in the field of 2D art. But through constant burnings of ceramics, surprises have somewhat brought elevated outcomes, as artists are willing to travel far distances coming into Inge.
There are two types of surprise. The first is the outcome surpasses my imagination, and it's very beautiful. The second is the likewise, whereas the artwork failed. Look at me, I travel from Wanhua to here in the morning. The round trip is about 3 hours.
At the kiln, space and glaze are generously provided to artists as they utilize technology, controlling the outcomes of each ceramic firing.
During glaze change, the colors change and combine. We use the materials called the clinker, which means that we have and watercolor is also included in this material.
Overcoming the challenges of uncontrollable color outcomes, Taihua pottery studied the glaze when processed firstly under high heat produces controllable outcomes. Glaze that is fresh and not processed beforehand is called raw glaze.
We spray layers of glaze and allow it to burn. This produces different effects. Afterwards, we add in op art.
The kiln is also a location for exhibition, allowing artists to regularly display their artworks. Liu Guoxing is the first person in Taiwan to combine digital art with Chinese ink wash painting. Now he adds that specialty into ceramics.
This is a way to show compassion, as traditional industries often find bottlenecks unable to grow. When artists join, they actually bring in beneficial ideas.
Besides artists finding a place for creation, the open-minded attitude of kiln owners has attracted the young generation.
这种针就是比较新的当代一点的。
This needle is more modern. Like this, when it burns, it produces 3D outcomes. The final product will remain like this for years to come and may be preserved for centuries.
From producing basic pottery for daily use to spawning a new industry in collaboration with local artists, Inge utilized an open-minded attitude as local artists paved a new way for its ceramic industry.
Since the train accident occurred, Tzu Chi has initiated disaster relief work and will continue to provide the needed help. Let's all pray for the affected passengers and their families. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.